pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome to the February 9th, 2026 business meeting of the Milford Board of Education. May we have a roll call, please, for attendance?
Yes. Megan Doyle.
We can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Maybe our volume's down?
Well, we see Ms. Doyle is here. We can't hear you, Ms. Doyle, but we see you.
Okay. Jennifer Brown.
Here.
Mary Claire Edmonds.
Here.
Nicole Flowers.
Here.
Tom Koba.
Here?
Adam Scobie.
Here.
Hannah Tedros.
Here.
Nicole Wilhelm.
Here.
Cindy Boynton.
Ms. Boynton is stuck at work and might not make it.
Okay. And Susan Glennon.
Here.
Okay, we have 9 members present with 2 attending virtually.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to student reports. I think Jonathan Law goes first tonight. Good evening.
Hello.
Playing solo.
Yep, Mark is at the basketball game, so he will not be joining us. Thank you, board members. It's a pleasure to be with you all once again. I hope you're all staying warm. To begin, happy halfway through the school year. The course selection process is underway for next year. This morning, an elective fair was held for 9th and 10th grade students to help them explore new interests. All of the honor societies are preparing new members for the induction ceremony in March. Each society will give a brief background on their morals and origins and then honor each inductee. For the English department, Ms. Goldbeck's AP Lang students are working on an old TikTok challenge called Hear Me Out in an educational way. Students will argue why their character should win a zombie apocalypse. This project has multiple facets. Written argument, trying to argue for someone whose traits they did not pick. Individuality, by creating a name for their character. Artistic individuality, by illustrating their character. And finally, presentation skills, when they present and verbally argue with their classmates. Advocate editors Harshita Kothapalli, Kayla Markowitz, and Fiorello Gargiulo are currently participating in Milford City Lifestyle Magazine's Creative Apprenticeship Program, a paid, merit-based 16-week initiative designed to give students hands-on experience at a published magazine. Harshi is a marketing and social media apprentice, Kayla is a journalism and writing apprentice, and Fiorella is a photography and visual arts apprentice. In Mr. Mellis's AP Lit classes, students will be using the stage in the auditorium to act out scenes from Macbeth in order for students to be more engaged in drama and be more invested in the content and delivery. In the math department, they have been and continue to be spending a great deal of time discussing math course selections for next year, as well as exploring some changes to the program of studies and new course offerings. This past weekend, the Science Olympiad team and advisors, Ms. Gagnon, Ms. Turcott, and Mr. Stanton, traveled to Harvard to compete at an Olympiad Invitational. Out of 60 teams, Mackenzie Forte and Rish Kadori placed 5th in the hovercraft event. This invitational helps prepare the team for the Connecticut Science Olympiad, which takes place at UConn on April 25th. In the music department, the students have been preparing to perform in their Music in Our Schools Month concert in March. Some students from the law program participated in the CMEA Southern Region Festival during the last long weekend. The law choir has been selected as the lead ensemble for the annual CMEA Awards coming up in late March. They are now auditioning for the All-State Festival. The choir department is also planning a trip to Broadway in April. In world language, the classes have been exploring celebrations and traditions from the Spanish and French-speaking worlds and comparing them to those in American culture. In celebration of La Chandeleur, which is February 2nd, students prepared crepes at home and created short videos in French, explaining the holiday for extra credit. Additionally, French 2 students are learning about Quebec through a novel connected to the Winter Carnival, which began on February 6th. Upper-level French and Spanish students are completing art-focused units in preparation for their upcoming field trip to the Yale Art Museum on February 19th. AP French 5/ECE students recently completed a unit centered on environmental awareness and community activism, with a focus on protecting and cleaning our oceans. In the Media Center, students in AP Research are collecting for their year-long research project, which they will begin analyzing soon. The TLC has checked out 580 books so far this year. Realistic fiction is the most popular genre, with nonfiction and graphic novels next. The TLC has a bookmark making station this week. Students can decorate a wooden bookmark to take with them. In athletics, winter sports are winding down, and many of our teams have already qualified for the CIAC state tournament. As of tonight, girls basketball, wrestling, gymnastics, indoor track, boys swim, and ice hockey are all in the mix for postseason play. Indoor track has had quite the record-setting season, with girls SMR placing third in the SEC and also breaking the school record. Girls 4x200 placing fifth in the SEC, and Talia Hagan placing fifth in the SEC for 300-meter dash. In cheerleading, Law is taking home the title of co-ed division champions, with Jordan Torres and Charlotte Balderi making All-SEC. In the SEC championship meet for gymnastics, Law placed fourth, with Sam Matisse and Ella Nora Nelly making All-SEC. The Law Unified Sports started their basketball season. There's a tournament with Foreign on February 18th. They're looking forward to it. Also, Law Athletics had their second meeting of the newly formed Leadership Council, composed of Law athletes. The Leadership Council has been formed for all underclassmen to better prepare student athletes to help guide their respective teams during the season. On January 13th, the College and Career Center hosted a Connecticut State Community College Application Day. 2 representatives from the Gateway and Housatonic campuses assisted seniors in filling out their online college application and answered questions. In addition, the College and Career Center collaborated with grade 9 English courses. In January, students were introduced to Khan Academy's free SAT prep and created their College Board accounts in advance of their in-school PSAT testing later in the semester. Finally, on the evening of January 29th, Foreign and Law College and Career Centers collaborated with the Milford Public Library to host the Armed Forces Nights. Representatives from branches of the military provided information and resources to local families. National School Counseling Week took place last week, February 2nd through February 6th. Thank you to all of our school counselors throughout the district for your hard work and dedication to supporting students every day. That concludes our updates for this month. Thank you again for listening, and have a wonderful evening.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be with you all tonight. I'm also by myself. Joey unfortunately has a hockey game, but he sends his best wishes. The Milford Bank recently awarded grants to several departments at Foreign High School, which include journalism, school counseling, culinary, and science. These grants will be used to support classroom learning, hands-on projects, and student enrichment opportunities throughout the school year. The school community is extremely grateful to the Milford Bank for its continued support of education and commitment to student success. We want to give a big congratulations to Angad Singh, who won the American Legion Post-Level Oratorical Contest, which is a speech contest on the U.S. Constitution. He won this on Saturday, January 24th, and he will now advance to the district level, which is being held in Naugatuck, Connecticut. We want to give another congratulations to Michael Cotton, who placed second in the contest. Great job to both of them. In 2005, January 27th was designated by the United Nations General Assembly as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. In commemoration, Foreign hosted Mrs. Susan Unrad, who spoke to our 9th grade students about her family's experiences, as well as those of the millions of other victims of the Holocaust. We want to thank Susan for her presentation and continued dedication to spreading awareness in our school's community. In economics, students delivered their final projects for the class. They researched the tax structure of various countries around the world to determine how they collect and spend taxes, and then took notes to devise a recommendation for a tax structure for a new fictional country. It was both an educational and fun way to end the semester-long course. We want to give a huge congrats to students Andrew Tang and Gavin Conti for earning a spot with the Milford City Lifestyle Creative Apprenticeship Program. This is a paid, merit-based initiative which is designed to give students hands-on experience producing a professionally published magazine and managing real-world creative platforms. We are so proud. U.S. history students began their World War II unit by using a gallery walk approach, where small groups tackled questions regarding the consequences of World War II. By reviewing peer responses and debating the ethical stakes of the war in a final whole group discussion, students engaged in meaningful dialogue that led them to a deeper understanding of conflict. In anatomy and physiology, students took part in their first dissection, It's the only time we encourage them to cut class. They are responsible for dissecting a mink to see the various parts of a mammal's anatomy. They are able to see the femur, patella, ACL, and more. This hands-on learning allowed for true understanding of how a mammal's body is constructed. In AP Psychology, students began their developmental psychology unit by exploring Jean Piaget and his stages of cognitive development. This was done by student volunteers becoming dating game Piaget-style contestants. They had respective scripts associated with each one of Piaget's stages, and in the end, students guessed what stage each contestant was, and the lucky bachelor/bachelorette chose a winner based upon their scripted answers. Our foreign girls gymnastics team has had a great start to their season. At their debut home meet, they came in third place with a score of 118.7, which is their season high so far. Senior Kayla Johnson led the team with a second place finish in the all-around. Senior Gianna Capozzi finished 6th on beam, and junior Ava Uberti finished 5th on vault. We also want to congratulate Kayla Johnson on being named SEC Athlete of the Year in the SEC Gymnastics Championship meet Thursday night at Jonathan Law. This is a huge honor for Kayla, who's an extremely hardworking, dedicated student athlete. We hope their season continues going well. Our defending state champion, Foreign Lions wrestling team, is having another great season. They recently won the Stony Creek Duels Tournament and repeated their title of Class M/S Dual Meet State Champions. They're currently ranked 3rd in all of Connecticut and 1st in Class M. In addition, last Sunday, Foreign hosted the 4th annual Queen of the Mat Girls Wrestling Tournament. With over 270 girls, it was the largest girls tournament in state history. We are extremely proud of this team and can't wait to see what the rest of the season has in store for them. With the help of our school counselors, seniors have been busy applying for scholarships. There are weekly scholarship tips sent out every Monday, as well as a page full of opportunities posted on the counseling site. Counselors have also provided students with the opportunity to hear presentations from various different career pathways, such as policemen, firefighters, environmental engineers at UConn, electricians, etc. Students will be able to hear from and question individuals who are in a position they one day want to be in. Last week, we celebrated National School Counseling Week. Each day, this dedicated group provides guidance and support to our students to help them navigate academic, social, and personal challenges with care and professionalism. Their work is essential in fostering student growth and well-being, and we made sure to express our appreciation and gratitude to them. Last month, the Giving Table Club prepared 2 trays of goulash and 2 trays of salad for the Milford Police Station. The meal served as a thank you to them for protecting our community and keeping us safe. The Multicultural Club students created a bulletin board to honor Black History Month. They're always looking for new students to join, and they had lots of fun creating the board. Thank you all for your time tonight, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you, students, and as always, you're welcome to head out for the evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, we move on to public comment. Now I'm going to read the public comment statement before we start. Speakers may offer objective comments about school operations and programs. The board encourages speakers not to express personal complaints or defamatory comments about the Milford Board of Education, personnel, or any person associated with Milford Public Schools. Security issues and matters relating to negotiations and grievances will not be permitted, consistent with the principles of the Federal Education Right to Privacy Act. Discussion of students is prohibited absent parental waiver. Public comment does not allow for two-way conversation between speakers and the board, but we welcome and appreciate your comments and opinions, and all will be taken into consideration. Please note that our meetings are live streamed on YouTube and televised. We ask that you state your name for the record, name and address for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes, and we will keep time. So are there individuals, I'm guessing that there's some individuals for public comment here this evening?
Yeah.
You're free to step up to the podium if you
Okay.
choose to. We just need your name and your address,
Yes.
and limit your comments to 3 minutes, please.
Yes. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, and the educators that are here. My name is Ranjit Bhave. I live at 37 Magnolia Road. I have been a Milford resident since 2008. Both of my kids, they went to the Milford schools. I have also been engaged with the society. I am on the board of Inland Wetland Commission for so many years, and also I'm a graduate of Citizens Police Academy, so we help out Milford PD whenever they ask us. So I'm here, and as well as some of my friends are here to respectfully consider Diwali as a school holiday for our students. The state has recognized Diwali as official holiday, and so there are some neighboring towns such as Orange, Trumbull, Woodbridge. they also have Diwali as their holiday in the schools. So Diwali is a significant religious observance for Hindu families and celebrated by millions of people throughout the world, and there are many families in Milford who celebrate Diwali every year. And it is family-centered occasion, and multiple generations come to house, and then we celebrate and pass on values such as gratitude, discipline, and responsibility. Spiritually, Diwali represents a victory of light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance, and good over evil, values that align with the mission of education. For practicing families, Diwali is not limited to an evening celebration. There are morning prayers, temple visits, family rituals, and religious observances that span for the entire day. When the school is in session, students are often forced to choose between fully practicing their faith and meeting academic expectations. During Diwali, students often attend classes while exhausted from late night observances and emotionally torn between school and family or absent altogether. So this affects not only students but even the classroom continuity and the engagement. So today, students from Christian, Jewish, and Muslim faiths benefit from school holidays aligned with their major religious observances. Hindu students, on the other hand, do not have a single religious holiday recognized in the school calendar. While excused absences are appreciated, they do not fully address the academic and emotional impact of missing instructional period. So this creates unintended inequality, one that can be addressed by recognizing Diwali as a holiday. So this would allow families to plan meaningfully and improve attendance consistency and support students' emotional well-being. So Diwali holiday is not about losing instructional time. It is about creating an learning environment where students feel supported, respected, and ready to engage. Granting Diwali holiday would promote equity, inclusion, and respect for religious diversity, ensuring that all students can observe their most sacred days without disadvantage. Is that it?
If you could just wrap it up. Yep, you can
Yeah.
finish your thoughts.
Yeah, so this is the last one. So Milford proudly described as small city with big heart, and big heart is reflected upon when institutions recognize all the communities with fairness and empathy. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Gatai and members of the Board of Ed. My name is Harshita Kotapalli and I'm a senior at Jonathan Law High School living at 16 Zirko Farm Road. And I've celebrated Diwali for the last 17 years of my life, or at least I've tried to. To give you a glimpse into my experience, recently this is what a typical Diwali looks like for me. I wake up around 5 in the morning, I shower, change into traditional clothes, and begin the morning puja with my family, a loving offering of light, flowers, water, and food to the divine. Then I change into my school clothes, rush out of the door, and hope I'm not late. I sit through a full school day, and after school I go to the temple, return home to perform my evening puja, light diyas or candles around the house, eat dinner, and enjoy fireworks and sparklers with my family. And finally, around 10:30 at night, I sit down to study for that AP macro test, take notes for APRUSH, and finish a math worksheet. In second grade, I was chosen to read my narrative essay at my elementary school showcase. I wrote, Diwali is my favorite time of year. I get to watch fireworks with my family and neighbors, light diyas, and eat my favorite food. Little did I know that over the next decade, I would spend more time celebrating Rosh Hashanah, Eid, Good Friday, Christmas, and Yom Kippur, embracing my peers' cultures, than being able to fully celebrate my own with my family. I'm grateful to attend a school that values diversity and teaches respect for different traditions. But Diwali is not just a celebration. It's a sacred day centered on family, reflection, and light. And it's a day I've never been able to truly experience without watching the clock or worrying about school the next morning. I may be graduating, but this decision isn't just about me. It's about the students who come after me. Students who deserve to wake up on Diwali knowing they can spend the entire day with their families without rushing, without stress, and without having to choose between their education and their culture. Giving students a day off on Diwali would mean allowing them to fully participate in a tradition that has lasted thousands of years, and to feel that their identities are truly recognized and valued in our schools. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mary Elizabeth Oak, also known as Emmy. I have decided to speak tonight. The last two meetings I wasn't here, but I've watched you online about the budget. And I have to say that all of you have thought hard, asked questions, to come to conclusions. I think this budget is a particularly tough one to deal with because of the budget cuts that were done in the last 2 years prior to this one, and with the decision making you had to come up with to get through it. I admire you. It's not an easy one, and I just wanted to thank you for all your work. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vinod Patil. I live at Robert Reed Drive here in Milford, and I'm living in Milford for the last 15 plus years. And my son goes to West Shore Middle School. So as Ranjit ji already talked about Diwali, so I just want to add a couple of more points to that. One thing is Diwali. We all know that it's not just about lighting the lamp at our own house, but we like that has to be on the neighbor's house and in the community also. So last few years we have been doing it throughout the America, but in Milford also we started last 3-4 years. We do collect a lot of food. So last year, just want to share the numbers. 4,000 plus pounds of food was collected and 4,000 plus dollars connected, and we are working with Sue at Purple Pantry. So that's one thing. And whatever we do during this Diwali, so kids are integral part of it, so that we can pass on those values of sharing these things. So now every time whatever we do, we are also, apart from Diwali, we are also engaged with different activities. At a couple of schools, we have started the Teachers Appreciation Day in the month of May and June. So we engage with a lot of students, the teachers there, and the students express the gratitude. So the Meadowside, West Shore, these teachers are already aware of it. So the point I would like to make here is, so after doing all these things, my son asked this question, Dad, why don't we have a holiday for Diwali? When all of my other friends, they get, when they have their festivals. So to be frank, I don't have answer. So far, he's in 7th grade now. Until last year, he used to miss the day. But I don't know we can afford that, or he will afford it once he goes to next grade or higher grades. I know there are excused holidays, but still whatever he will miss that day, that usually we will, even if it is sick or like partially sick, we will try to send him to the school so that he don't miss anything, and he too don't like to miss the things there at school. So that is something that we would like to, I'm not able to answer that question. Although there are like hundreds of families here in Milford who celebrate Diwali, and also a lot of these families engage with fire department and the schools and all. So that was just one of the points I just want to raise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kishore Kothapalli at 16 Zirco Farm Road, Milford. I've been in town for more than 2 decades, and I'm a board member of MEF, it's the Milford Education Foundation. Today I'm here to talk about incorporating Diwali as a holiday into a school system. So, members of the board, thank you for hearing me today. I'm here because Milford has always been more than just a town. It's a community that prides on itself on heart, on unity, and on honoring every family member that calls this place home. And today, we have an opportunity to live up to that promise. Connecticut has officially recognized Diwali as a public holiday. Our state has acknowledged what so many Milford families already know. Diwali is not just a festival, it is a celebration of light, triumphing over darkness, of hope, rising above fear, of community coming together. These are values that resonate deeply with who we are as a town. So Milford calls itself a small city with big heart. But a big heart isn't just something we say, it's something we show. When students must choose between celebrating one of the most important days of their culture and attending school, we dim that light. We tell them unintentionally, that their traditions matter less. By adding Diwali as a public school holiday, we send a different message, one that says, your culture belongs here, your traditions belong here, and you belong here. This is our chance to align with the state, honor our families, and let Milford's heart shine ever brighter. Let's choose inclusion, let's choose community, let's choose light. Thank you.
Hello everyone and board members, thank you for allowing us to speak today. My name is Dhaval Patel and I live in Milford on 8 Accord Lane. I'm in a Milford resident since 19 years. I have my family, my kids growing up in the Milford. I spend majority of my school is in Milford. I have my IT business in Milford. So Milford is my basically home. And my kids are also goes to the kids Matheson High School, Matheson School. And we have a community center or a Hindu place of worship called Hindu Temple at 25 Research Drive in Milford. Every Sunday, more than 200 people gathers there. And Diwali is our most biggest festival that we celebrate in the temple. Not only just Diwali, but as a community, we give back to the community by celebrating the walkathons. Also, we do blood donation drives. We do food drives, health awareness lectures. By doing such activities, we give back to the community. But as a being Hindu, we celebrate Diwali as the biggest festival. Just we talk about the last year Diwali celebration, there were more than 850 people just gathered only to celebrate Diwali in one day at our temple. Now, when we talk about 850 people be there with our own kids, they have to go to school. Why? Because they don't have official holiday yet. Yes, thank you very much for excusing the Diwali as a excused holiday or excused allowed. But when kids get emotional that why we have to choose to go to school when we have other holidays or other festivals are allowed not to go to school, then we just choose our kids not to send to school and be with us, and that sacrifice the studies and qualification, the education. And just last year, Connecticut governor recognized the state of Diwali as a state observation, and by doing so, Connecticut became a second state the whole nationwide. So I humbly request Milford Education Board to Diwali considered as a holiday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the board this evening? All right, well, we thank you so much for coming out and speaking with us. We've already adopted our calendar for the next September, but certainly as we consider calendars going forward, we will reach back out to you perhaps and take this into consideration. And you can communicate with the superintendent's office as well, if there's one or two of you who want to speak for the group. Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for
Appreciate
your
it.
time.
Thank you.
We can leave, I guess.
You may stay or you may leave. You're going to move on to the rest of the rest of our agenda. All right, so I'll move on to the chair's report. I just want to remind, or I think I've notified all of you of this, but just a reminder that the public hearing for the Board of Finance, the budget public hearing, will be held this Wednesday at 7 p.m. at City Hall. And then Dr. Kutai and staff and I will be presenting our budget to the Board of Finance on February 19th, so that's about 2 weeks from now, or next week, I guess. And that is at 5:30 p.m. It's here in conference room B, I believe. And as we discussed at our last meeting, our long-range facilities planning work will pick up the pace at this point. And just a reminder for everybody to please hold all of the off Mondays for potential special meetings, except for next Monday, which is President's Day, so we're not here. Do we have any liaison reports from anybody tonight?
Yes.
Ms. Flowers?
From the Milford Prevention Council. So they provided a vaping education to East Shore Middle School on January 6th, and they had 26 7th grade students. On February 4th, they were at Laurelton Hall, where they had 60 juniors. They are scheduled again for Laurelton on February 10th for freshmen and sophomores, February 26th at East Shore Middle School, and March 6th at Harborside. The Milford Prevention Council Youth Committee has written a script for a 2-minute PSA on the dangers of youth gambling. They are filming this Thursday, and this was all made possible through a CREC grant. They're going to share this with the Milford Public School community after the showcase on March 25th. Let's see. Mayor Rich Smith was their guest speaker on their January 10th coalition meeting. Tomorrow, February 10th, they will have Sarah Blodgett from the National Guard, who will be speaking on their Stashed Away trailer, hidden in plain sight bedroom. They are currently working with the Milford Rec to have this trailer for parents to explore at some sporting events. More details to come. Let's see, some upcoming events. They're gonna begin environmental scans for tobacco, and they're happy to present that to the Board of Ed once completed. They are offering their very first teen mental health first aid training for youth in March in collaboration with West Haven and Orange. And at this time, they have 4 Milford youth signed up to be trained, and they have 2 more spots available. And lastly, they are working with Harborside for an advisory activity for Mental Health Month in May. The event takes place on April 16th, and they are currently seeking donations for supplies.
Thank you. Any other liaison reports? Ms. Edmonds?
The Board of Aldermen met on February 2nd, 2026, and approved the motion to accept the capital improvement plan for 2026 to 2030, which includes our last capital improvement plan items from last May.
Very good, thank you. And PT Council met the night of the night we were voting on our budget, so I did meet with them briefly before our meeting, and they'll be meeting again this month, so. Any others? All right. Should we move ahead without time to retire? Should we wait? Can we move on to the superintendent's report? Ms. Doyle, did you have a report?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. From the Facilities Committee, there's a number of projects that are proceeding right now. So we have the law project, which at some point in the near future will come before the Board of Education for some information so that we can move forward and hopefully start getting to a contractor and start demolition and everything else in whatever needs to be done in the spring. The esports project is likely to be delayed until at least next year because this is a project that will require approval through the General Assembly, and through that much longer process is considered a non-priority project, which is not the correct term for it because it's, sorry, that's too in the weeds. And then there are also roof projects and HVAC projects which are proceeding right now. So there will be a lot of work going on in the next few months across the buildings that were from prior capital improvement allocations.
Thank you. Ms. Wilhelm, did you have any reports?
I do not, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Glennon, and members of the Board of Education. So excited for this evening's instructional highlight. I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Artieri, but I know he has a great team of administrators and teachers with us tonight. So off to you, Mr. Artieri.
Thank you, Dr. Kataya. Good evening, members of the board. Welcome to our February instructional highlight on high quality instruction. I am incredibly pleased to be joined by a terrific group of individuals seated over to my left. We'll provide an introduction just because there are likely some new faces in the room for you this evening. So I'll start with our wonderful instructional supervisor team. I'm going to go right along the back first. So we have Ms. Therese McGuire, who is our supervisor of early childhood instruction. We have next to her Ms. Sarah Brewer, who is our supervisor of secondary humanities. Seated next to Sarah is Mr. Adam Apicella, who is our supervisor of secondary STEM. And then as we come up into the next row in, second seat in, we have Ms. Marissa Akampora, who is our supervisor of student learning and engagement. Seated next to her is Dr. Amy Paris, who is our supervisor of arts, music, and library media. And last but certainly not least is Ms. Stephanie Corrado, who is our supervisor of elementary or K-5 STEM. I'm also really fortunate to be joined by 4 incredible educators who have been leading this work both out in the open with our teachers and our leaders, but also doing a lot of the integral work behind the scenes. So in the front row, I have Mr. Austin Caesar, who is a social studies teacher at Foreign High School. Next to Austin is Miss Sarah Monaco, who has stepped into a new role this year as a literacy specialist at East Shore Middle School. Next to Sarah is Miss Gina Christina, who is a 2nd grade teacher at Live Oak School. And then seated right behind Austin is Miss Julie Fisher, who is an instructional specialist at West Shore Middle School. So as we go into our presentation this evening, we're going to really chunk this into 3 parts. I want to be able to start with all of you and share a little bit about the why for high quality instruction and what it means to us, the impact that it has on us. And then I'm actually going to turn it over to our team of these 4 incredible educators, or 5 incredible educators. Sorry, I gave you the wrong number.
No, it's 4.
Is it 4? I'm not counting right tonight. Who are going to talk to you about the work and share with you how it's had an impact on them in classrooms. And then you'll have an opportunity to hear from some of our instructional supervisors who will talk a little bit about how the work carries throughout the school year and a lot of the different systems that we have in place. So without further ado, I want you to just hit the pause button, rewind a little bit in time, and go back to the beginning of the 20th century. And think about how classrooms have evolved and shifted since that time. We've gone from this kind of egg crate model and design where teachers went into the classroom, they shut the door behind them, our kids were on these wooden desks or metal desks in rows, the teacher delivered the information, and the students went on to the next class. This kind of almost industrial line model of education. And what we saw over time with this particular model was that teachers felt a sense of professional isolation. There was not opportunities to collaborate. Teacher retention was much lower because if you got new teachers that were facing difficult challenges, they experienced that isolation and left either where they were or the profession altogether. We know that relationships are one of the most important factors for increasing instructional capacity. So, a few years back, our wonderful superintendent, Dr. Kataya, came into Milford and really set the tone for doing some of this work. And she came in and really realized with the team that we needed this North Star. We needed this ability to be able to align our instructional work to a common vision. And we knew that it was important, as we said in that previous slide, for us to deprivatize practice, to break those silos and get teachers out. And I'm going to say 2 words that I really want to resonate with you as you listen to our presentation tonight. That we're engaging teachers in not only sustained, but also in-depth analysis of teaching practice. And we feel like this instructional vision helps to set the context for what we value and what we believe in represents the instruction throughout the entire Milford Public Schools. This is what good teaching sounds like, feels like, as well as what it looks like. So as we talk about our model for high quality instruction, I'm not going to read all the bullet points. What I want to do is pull some of the words out for you. Shared language. You'll hear me often say tonight the words consistency and coherence, which we'll define a little bit later. We did this with our leadership team over the last several months. But it gives some common language around what feedback is. How do coaches support teachers when they push in and support teachers in the classroom? We talk about equity, access, and opportunity for every learner that steps into our classrooms. High expectations. We have really valued, and Ms. Akampora has done some incredible work at leading the context of belonging and how high expectations for every single student is integral for their learning process. We know with Maslow's hierarchy of needs that when students feel safe and connected, they're more likely to learn. We talk about coherence to our professional learning model. We talk about reducing the cognitive load for teachers. And what that really means is we're taking away some of the decisions that they have to make so they can focus on teaching. There's no second guessing, there's no guessing to what we define as high quality instruction, or what strategies and instructional priorities we emphasize in Milford. And lastly, we mentioned consistency. We want every student, whether you go to Live Oaks or Orchard Hills, to have the same exact experiences and opportunity as any other student in that grade level or across the district. The HQI model was never meant to be static. It is always strategic. We feel like, and if you know any Walt Disney quotes, when Walt Disney created Disneyland, he said it would never be finished. We believe the same thing about our model for high quality instruction. I take an immense sense of pride in continuing to lead the work that Dr. Kataya set forth, and you can kind of see the first version or first iteration of our model for high quality instruction on the background on the slide. And this goes back to 2018, 2019. We know two things. When we talk about being strategic, we first of all want to make sure that it's grounded in research. Second of all, we want to make sure that it works for our kids here in Milford. We're not looking at it at a national standard, we're looking at it for what works for our students right here within the city. I want to point out to you, so I just showed you the first version of our model for high quality instruction. In December of 2022, we adopted our second version of the framework. And I want to point two things out to you. That first of all, this defines what we believe are the important instructional practices across all 491 of our instructional spaces. And if you take a look at some of the key words on here, you'll notice things like goal setting, reflection, thinking. We're getting kids to think about their learning. But you'll also notice that this paints a really tremendous picture of what we value in our beliefs about how students should experience their learning. You'll notice words like inquiry, risk-taking, mistakes. We want a culture of psychological safety not only for our kids, but for our educators as well. And I mentioned to you a little bit about consistency and coherence. When we define consistency, what we're talking about is classroom to classroom. Similar instructional practices. Coherence now is when we set the systems and the culture up to extend between schools. So this is really what we put into place, the systems that we established to support high quality instruction. And the graphic to the right, if you look in the center, we talk about that instructional vision. And we believe that HQI not only anchors to the instructional materials that we use, but also how we create our professional learning model. And also how we think about supporting students that may struggle. We've talked about our multi-tiered systems of support. And I mentioned to you that it's grounded in research. So this isn't just some arbitrary graphic that we put together and threw a bunch of fancy buzzwords down. We really did the time throughout the first 2 versions of this model to think about the research around high-quality experiences for teaching, whether it's meta-analyses on practices that are most effective for moving student achievement. Our work was really grounded in several different models of research. So with that said, I'm going to turn the floor over to 4 of our educators to really share with you now how we have taken this model and taken it from ideas to actually impacts in every classroom. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Ms. Julie Fisher.
All right. The first thing that we wanted to start with were 3 quotes from our colleagues after attending HQI this year. And we thought we'd start with this so it could kind of marinate as you hear the rest of the presentation on the value of high quality instruction, HQI. The first one, I think it was just the magic of seeing the kids in the experience, and that is they all had huge takeaways. So just bearing witness to how much they learned in a week from each other. The second one, I genuinely like collaborating with my colleagues and pushing my practice as an educator. I'm drawn by the opportunities to learn new evidence-based instructional practice, and it is an opportunity to shift my instructional practice in service of the students and the Milford Public School vision of high-quality instruction. And then finally, HQI Live has this sort of magical quality. I have observed both as a participant and a facilitator where teachers leave really, really excited and really empowered and ready to start the school year.
Thank you. I really had an amazing experience last summer. I was a teacher for HQI at 4 and 4, the last session of HQI. I've been at Milford for 29 years, and I have to say it's the most valuable professional learning I've ever had. It really is. In terms of the opportunities I was given for collaborating with colleagues, I was able to work with a coach to plan my unit for the week. I was able to have a lot of support and feedback, and it was just an amazing experience to work with the colleagues I worked with as well as the students in the summer, getting to have a chance to teach them in a lesson experience during the summer. My unit was on elections, and they had a chance to design a political campaign. They designed TV commercials, a budget, brochures, hands-on learning, and it was really just a great experience to see them go from the start to the finish and be able to develop they had commercials they developed, they presented them, they had voting at the end for the candidates they wanted to have for office amongst them. It was just a really hands-on learning experience. What I learned most about it was the ability to trust the students to take an assignment and just run with it. A lot of times as an educator you say, oh, here are the training wheels, I gotta keep helping you, keep helping you, keep helping you. HQI taught me how to surrender authority to the students to come up with their own way of doing things, and they took off with it. They had beautiful commercials, they had nice brochures, they had a wonderful debate. Just the hands-on learning was amazing just by handing over that experience to students. So I can't say enough about that. Making thinking visible was important as well too. Students got a chance to explain themselves and how they came up with the different ideas they did for their campaigns. Just a lot of strong learning and I think strong teaching on my end. I was fortunate to be on the Board of Education for 8 years of my own career, separate from working in Milford, and I was on the Goals and Evaluations Committee for many years, and we always questioned, oh gee, is this going to be helpful, necessary, required, all that stuff. And I got to say, being on this end of the table, this is something that's definitely very, very valuable to educators. It really is. It helped me tremendously with my teaching, my planning, and thinking about how I teach and how I coordinate my lesson plans. And it really just dramatically impacted my instruction. So it really is a tremendous opportunity for our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the quotes that were on the prior screen, I could have written any one of those quotes. That's how much, how strongly I feel about HQI Live. When Dr. Kataya asked me to come, I told her that I hate public speaking, but she's lucky that my love for HQI Live is more than my hate for public speaking. So I was fortunate to participate for 5 years at HQI. 4 years as an attendee, but then like Austin, I was also a host teacher. And the great thing is that you're learning and being taught by other teachers. In the morning time, you will go and you'll learn some instructional moves, and then right after that, you're thrown into a classroom watching your fellow teachers teach students the instructional moves you were just taught. I mean, what better way to learn than to be able to see it being put to practice right then and there? And the part that I loved the best probably was after I watched them teach it, I got to ask them questions about why they did what they did. Was this the plan? Did you change in midstream, and why did you do that? What will you do tomorrow that's different? How did you learn from what your students taught you today? That's where you're gonna start tomorrow. And every single summer, I can't imagine not going to HQI Live in the summertime. It gives me such inspiration to start my next school year. What are small moves that I'm gonna change in my practice so that my students can be more engaged during the school year? And then even how it continues during the year with our small lab sites, the learning of HQI continues. And there's no better way than to collaborate with your fellow teachers and to learn from the wonderful educators we have to learn from. But I gauge PL being successful if I can take something from it and go right back to my classroom and use it. And I can tell you that HQI Live, that's what that is. And anyone that would love to come, and I would love to have anyone come into my classroom so that you can see it put to action. But thank you for listening tonight.
So happy to be here as well. So this is my 26th year in education, but my 6th year at Milford. And the first time I came and experienced HQI Live during the summer, I said, oh my goodness, this is a gift to this district, and it's the best professional development that you can have within your own district, not having to go somewhere, and it lives on in the classrooms throughout the whole year. So that was really exciting for me, being new to the district. And what I wanted to talk about today is just a little idea of what the multi-day learning arc looks like for the week. So usually, in the past, we've had 6 days. I know this year I think we're switching it up a little bit to 5 days, but we always start with professional development, professional learning for the teachers, just like Gina had mentioned, in the morning, focused, laser focused on one specific practice, or a few, right, mixed together. And then we go right into the observation of watching live classrooms to see all that right in action. And you get those takeaways, like Gina just said, you get to see it right in the moment. And then what we do is we do the debriefs, so teachers get to talk about what did they plan, what happened that was predictable, what wasn't predictable, what didn't they plan for, how did they make those moves, all directly related to our everyday real life of teaching. So to be able to have that opportunity to debrief with the teachers is so powerful. And then going back to connecting the live teaching to professional learning pathways was a new opportunity this past year, and I think that we had great success with that. We had really great feedback about that, because now teachers had, rather than coming back to the big room where we do all our learning and everyone's doing the same learning again, they got to pick a pathway of interest for them that was impactful to how they personally wanted to grow more. So we blended all of that together, and it was just a wonderful experience.
So to keep that momentum going for the day for our teachers, just like we want our teachers to do with our students, we come back to that main room and we have our teachers get a little choice. They get to choose what they want to dive deeper into. And last year, these were some of the choices. They could investigate leadership for learning, formative assessment, questioning, thinking prompts, belonging, opportunity, access, equity, and my favorite, because Dr. Harris and I, we did keeping students in flow. And what we do is, after the teachers choose what they want, they go into a more intimate setting, so it's a smaller group, and we start with the research behind the topic. We, of course, did the engaging topic of keeping students in flow, and we did start with the research and the data around that topic. We talked about how meaningful the right extensions and hints could be in the classroom. We modeled how that looked in the classroom. And then, of course, after we went over those teacher moves that were essential and strategies, we wanted to conversely go into what it doesn't look like, which is really, really important, and we aptly name that Flow Busters. So we keep the momentum going during HQI. We keep it engaging, we keep it relevant, we keep it research-based. We say what it looks like. We give palpable, tangible strategies that teachers can use. We have the intimate settings at the end of the day so you can ask questions. And then finally, we show what it doesn't look like, so that everybody leaves on solid ground with a good foundation to go back to their schools and teach others. So it's a nice way to end up that day. And with momentum.
So I also want to invite our instructional supervisors up to join me and talk to you about a little bit about how this work continues throughout the school year. So as we mentioned, HQI Live is really that spark, that ignition to get us thinking about the work throughout the school year. And what I tried to do on this slide for you is give you several examples, and I'm going to let the team just kind of share out some of the ways that we continue to do the work around high quality instruction throughout the year, all the way down to the work that we do in classrooms every day. So, team?
I'd just like to point out that my pathway was access and belonging. And if my partner teacher were here, I'd high five her too, because it was fabulous.
Do you want to high five me? I was in there.
You know what? Yes, thank you for the air high five. I just needed a little support in that moment. And I'd like to just make mention of something that I experienced in HQI Live this last time. Mr. Caesar, who's, where are you now? You're over there now. Mr. Caesar has pushed my thinking since I've started working in Milford Public Schools, and he knows it. The experience that I've had just in our regular professional learning, the carry through the through line of HQI Live that happens through the course of the school year has afforded me opportunities to collaborate with Mr. Caesar. His background in being an expert in his content area and specifically teaching civics. I've been schooled a number of times, let me tell you, and it has been a wonderful experience for me. What I got to see him do was take the pieces that I feel so passionately about the access for our students to have equitable opportunities in every classroom every day. And Mr. Caesar put that into practice with an expertise that I can't quite explain because it's like HQI Live, you need to experience that. We watch students come in with very little desire to be public speakers, debaters, and they went from hoods on and kind of, all right, what did my mom sign me up for, to being an orator. The confidence that we felt emanate from the students who experienced this instruction from such an expert teacher who was working with other individuals in our district who carry our same belief system about the importance of HQI Live, transformed lives in that room, and I think there wasn't a dry eye at the end of that.
In 5 days.
In 5 days. 5 days, yeah. This is our equity lever. This gives us the opportunity to show truly what our work in HQI is. It is affording every student that opportunity for their own greatness. And when you have that experience and you see it for yourself, it transforms what you believe you can do in your classroom. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for impacting me.
And Marissa, we heard a lot, several times in those quotes, the word magic, right? And there is a magic to HQI Live that is hard to describe if you haven't participated in it. You know, I remember feeling it the first year I was a part of it, but I felt it the second year and the third year and the fourth year too. But I think part of that magic is that it doesn't just happen during those 5 days. I have the privilege of working with several of these teachers throughout the school year, and I think the real magic starts in August when we come back to school energized and ready and excited to do what we did during those 5 days throughout the entire 180 days of the school year, right? To operationalize the theory of the HQI model in our practice every day. And I think the power of that is not just what's happening in our classrooms with our students, but in our teachers' willingness to share that, right? So Mr. Caesar and I get to work very closely together, and I think a big part of that magic is that we don't just do it behind closed doors anymore, right? The doors were open this summer, and the doors have continued to be open to your classroom throughout this year. And we've continued to talk about not just what our practice looks like now, but maybe how our practice has changed a little bit and how the experience has changed us and therefore changed experiences for our kids. And I think that really encapsulates the magic of HQI Live.
Don't mind. Hi, everybody. So this is, I think, we're at the end of 4 months, maybe, of since I started in Milford. And you know when you're, interview prepping for a new job, you look at everything. And I remember the first time I looked at our HQI V2 diagram, I was overwhelmed, to say the least, at the very beginning. I was like, oh, there's a lot of arrows, there's a lot going on. And then, but once I actually looked at it, it read through everything. It makes sense. And then I got here and I asked some of my colleagues, I was like, am I okay? They're like, you're okay, you got this. And then because I just had missed HQI Live by like 2 weeks. And they explained that this isn't something that's just, okay, it's 5 days over the summer and we move on. It literally, this slide and what Sarah just spoke about is true, where it's really in our everyday nuance. Somebody told me I was overcomplicating it. It truly, like, high quality instruction is just that. It's instruction every single day that our teachers, when they're planning, when they're meeting their DLTs, when they're grading, when they're instructing, it's all of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. So yes, for 5 days, it's what starts the next year, but then it's carrying that over throughout all of our PL, whether it's pull-out time or everything you see on here. And so what I keep telling myself is, don't overcomplicate it. It's what we know to be good instruction for all of our teachers and kids.
You just set me up so well. So, we're talking a lot about our teachers, who are our learners, right? But I think the other great thing about HQI is, from our team's perspective, is we are also learners in this work. So when we're developing professional learning for our teachers, when we're having our district-wide admin professional learning, we're engaging in learning experiences similar to how our teachers are creating learning experiences for our students. So we are all learners in the work, which is part of that magic, because we're able to model it. Our teachers, there are so many times where I have teachers who have gone to HQI, they call me and they say, Amy, come see this in my classroom. And I'm like, I just learned something from you because you've tried the strategy in a different way than I'm thinking about it. So we're all, just like Marissa talked about too, the equity piece, we're all learners in the work and we're all engaging in it. And we all have the opportunity to make the decision on where we enter into it, but also understand it is all about a learning experience for our students that is unique, that is personalized, and allows our students to be the people who are looking for, they're experiencing learning. We're not giving that information like years and years ago in those classrooms. So,
Dr. Paris, can you mention, talk about the student debrief? I thought that's where you were going to go.
I can absolutely talk about the student debrief.
Yeah.
I would love to.
No one has to talk about that.
Yes. So on Thursday of HQI, this is also another magical moment where on Thursday of HQI, our students, we get to talk with our students. So throughout the week, the students are the ones doing in the classrooms, but the teachers are never really talking to them. And so we have a moment where the teachers get to ask the students questions about their week and what they've learned and what was challenging for them. And I would say every single classroom looks a little bit different. Some of the kiddos are really, really scared to talk, and we've got all these adults asking them questions. It's like, I know you can say this, but I think the camera's there and everything. But I also know that this year in particular, in the high school room, they were probably the most vocal about the experience and how meaningful and how much it changed them as educators or as learners. And I think the other part of this, having been to every season of HQI at this point, it is so interesting because one of the questions we always ask is, what would you tell your future teacher? And so often the students are like, I hope all of our learning can be like this. I hope we get to do more activities like this, have more experiences like this. And we're at the point now where we're starting to see some repeat students come to HQI. And because they're enjoying that experience so much. So I hope that captured everything you were hoping I would capture.
Whatever you were hoping, yes.
But yes, it is, that is one of our favorite, I think for all of us, our favorite days to talk to our students. And, you know, when they say kids say the darndest things, they absolutely do. And sometimes the camera goes off and then you have that one-on-one and you really get all the great information from them. But it is, that is another magical part of our week.
And you could stay here with me, because you were with me that week, remember?
I was with you that week because we collaborated.
So I was fortunate enough to start in Milford before HQI, so I was able to participate this summer. I kind of jumped in and there was a lot to learn. So there were a lot of meetings at the beginning. I know that you guys were already, I mean, it was like the final stages of planning when I had started here, but you know, kind of like Adam, I was trying to wrap my head around what this was, and then just to be there was just something completely, it's just an experience that you really can't put into perspective on paper. You really have to be there to live it, to see it happen. And like Amy said, we're all learners that week. We're all learning something. I think one of the biggest things for me was Amy and I had the opportunity of having our teachers join forces and teaching one of the elementary lessons. So we actually had a music and a STEM teacher coming together and teaching the same class throughout the entire week. They did a unique lesson on sound wave and transferring energy. So basically the students got to see the connection between music and STEM every single day. And it was just really inspirational to see, and it was great to hear the conversations that the students had. And we're still kind of having that momentum going right now with some of our STEM units. Our teachers are collaborating with our library media specialists. So we're really still trying to keep that cross-curricular connection going. And it really is very impactful because the students are seeing that learning is not happening in isolation. It's not just happening in one place, but it's truly happening every day, everywhere they go. And then the teachers collaborating and working together really just brings so much more of a learning experience to them. And so it's something that we're going to continue to keep going, but it really, really was a great experience to see, and the growth that we got in our own roles as well as the educators was just, again, something you can't read in a textbook. It's not something that you can, you know, really go outside. And I think for me, one of the biggest things was you're watching your colleagues and you're learning from your colleagues who are working with the same students that you're working with. So these are our students, this is our community, and we're all learning from one another, and I think it's a huge thing for the students to also see and take away.
And so often too, for this collaborative unit, I know in music, like we have a sound unit that we do, but we've noticed in the past that kids aren't making that connection to what's happening in STEM. And it was so clear, and those two teachers were like, and in this case, they were both from the same school, and they said, well, we can continue this and we can collaborate because, and just to see those students make that clear connection between music and STEM, another magical piece of it, because they really did and they understood it. So that was also very
And
cool.
they came up with a fantastic rap.
Oh, the teachers did a rap at the end. It was
They tied in something that they
about every single student,
which they didn't teach all those students. So again, some of these students were brand new to them for that week, and at the end of the week, they came up with this.
It was amazing.
It was the best thing I've ever heard.
And the kids felt so special. They felt so special.
It was really great.
It was very cool.
Yes.
I think for me, and a lot of what our colleagues said, is the magic. I've had the unique experience as a professional to serve as a teacher, a coach, and a building administrator, so I've seen it from many perspectives. But at HQI Live, it gives us the opportunity for all of us to be learners. So you're with your principal, you're with your coach, you're with your teacher, but you're all immersed in the same professional development, and you're walking away with a shared understanding and a roadmap of where you want to go for the year. And we continue to reflect together on the roadmap. And I think just coming from when I was a building administrator and I didn't have a clear roadmap, it was difficult sometimes to plan and figure out what comes next and to help everybody get on board and on the same page. And coming to Milford and experiencing HQI Live, it really gives everybody the opportunity to say, we're all learners, let's learn together, and then let's reflect together. Where do we want to go next? how do we want to make that happen? And you walk into the school year with a clear-cut plan, but it's not a plan that's static. It's a plan that's always evolving. So we're always being responsive and reflective. So I think that's where the magic happens, is that we all have that shared language and that shared progression of where we want to go with our students and our staff.
So what you probably didn't hear from the team is next steps and where we're going. Where's the next part in the journey for us? This incredible group of educators has already started the work for planning season 7. And what we're really proud about, and what you noticed on one of the slides, I think it was the one that Gina had talked about, was this is about teachers leading teachers. And so much of our planning for season 7 has been collecting feedback from teachers, involving teachers during the process of planning for HQI Live. So we've thought about some changes to the structure and the time. Earlier, Julie talked about the professional learning pathways, and that was all feedback from teachers. Opportunity to think about how we do the afternoon differently to give some more of that self-selected opportunity for the professional learning. So I'm incredibly proud of the work. HQI Live, we typically start planning 6 months in advance. That's how much work goes into that 1 week of time over the summer, because we believe in providing the best experience for our educators. And most exciting, which, you know, it's work that we have the opportunity to do now, is we're looking at the next version of our model for high quality instruction. So we have what we believe is going to be our aspirational lens going into the future, and thinking about where do we want the vision of high quality instruction to be in Milford throughout the next 4, 5, 6 years, thinking even further past that. And we are in the process now of, we put out to teachers, coaches, principals. We believe that this is a with. We want our teachers, our educators to come to the table and be a part of this work from the start. So we are involving a committee to come together and help us do a think tank to ideate, to build the next version of V3. So that's why you've got the question mark there, because we don't know what the lens is going to look like. But we know that we want this to be about our educators leading the work along with us. So thank you, board members. Happy to take questions that you may have regarding HQI or the HQI Live experience.
Thank you. I just feel the need to preface our discussion with one thing. I'm going to go back to the very first comment that Mr. Altieri made, talking about Dr. Kutai setting the tone for this when she came in to the district. I do want to be clear. We hired her to do this work. She brought her in. She's operating under the directive of the Board of Ed that hired her, knowing that we had need to increase our coherence and our consistency across the district. That was abundantly clear from the studies that were done. So when the board hired the superintendent at the time with the knowledge that that superintendent would do the work. So certainly the vision of what has come out of it and the collaborative efforts is, the foundation was laid by Dr. Kutaya, but she was working under the direction of the board to do that work. So do we have questions from board members? Mr. Scobie?
I think we all know I wasn't going to stay quiet on this. Every time HQI Live comes up, I write my long love letters to it. I just want to say, I'm sure at some point everyone's been through some version of professional training in the workplace. I know as educators we are required to sit through PD or PL, I think you guys called it, for our work. And I can't tell you how many times you go to these trainings and you just like can feel the body language from everyone around you, like, I can't believe we have to sit through another one of these. And to that effect, you know, it would be very wise of Dr. Kataya and Mr. Altieri to stack the deck and bring in all their instructors that are really excited about HQI Live, right? I'd be foolish not to have people come in and be excited about this. But when I went to HQI Live last year, there were dozens and dozens of people there at this training around the tables, really excited to be there, and I'm fairly certain it's voluntary, right?
Right, we do pay people, but
okay.
They get to choose to come, yes,
And
there's no forcing.
And the room was packed with people who wanted to be there because of how valuable this training is, right? I only sat in on one day. because that was all I had time for last summer. I have every intention of trying to get down there every day this year because it blew my mind just how good this training was. So I have that to say, and then the other thing, two things I wanted to point out, just kind of, I have no questions, this is just, again, I love letter. Two kind of comments about this. There was, somebody had mentioned that story about the high schooler who showed up with his hoodie on day one, and I was kind of told too that he keeps kind of quiet all throughout the school year, not just, when you show up for a random week of school in the middle of the summer. He's kind of always feeling that way, right? But I showed up on the last day, and I believe, I mean, I could be mixing this up, but I believe that's the young man who was one of the campaign managers, right?
Absolutely.
And then also, I think, was emceeing a portion of this, right? And so the fact that he showed up, hoodie up, probably earbuds in, because they keep their hood up to hide their earbuds, right? To then being a campaign manager and getting up in front of everyone, it just really shows the type of safe and comfortable environment that Mr. Caesar, I know your name is Austin, but I had you 20 years ago, you'll always be Mr. Caesar. But that just shows how comfortable and safe of an environment that was created for the students to take this on and really run with it. So I think that says a lot about this as well. And then the last thing I want to throw out there would the whole music and STEM combination. My son is at JFK right now, and in his STEM classes, they're learning about push and pull. And his kindergarten teacher, Miss Rosengrant, shout out to her, is also bringing push and pull into her classroom. So it's not just she's learning about this in STEM, it is being reinforced elsewhere. So just like everything you guys talked about, I've witnessed it. I think it's amazing. I hope this never ends. I hope it goes on forever. Like you said, it's continuously improving. It's not just done at some point and pat yourselves on the back and keep moving. You continue to work on this. So I look forward to this. This is one of my favorite presentations to learn about and then also witness over the summer. So kudos to everyone in the room that works on this.
Thank you, Mrs. Scobie.
Other comments, questions? Ms. Edmonds?
I am so appreciative of all of you for coming here tonight and telling us about this. I've heard the passion, and your energy and your enthusiasm is so contagious. Some of the things that excited me about what you said, Mr. Altieri, is the relationship building. I love that people are still talking throughout the year, and I see that as an opportunity for mentorship. I love the cross-curricular connections and the opportunities for choice, because I really think that reinforces seeing our teachers as the professionals that they are in their field. And I did have one question, and it's a curiosity question about the building admin part and the professional roadmaps, or the year-long roadmaps that you mentioned. I'm just curious how that looks. Do all the admin go to HQI Live, and if some miss out, or if some teachers miss out, how do those year-long roadmaps happen if certain people didn't get the chance to go?
So what I will tell you is that we definitely saw over my 2 years, this year will be my third time going through HQI Live. We've seen more and more building principals, assistant principals attend. We actually did a pathway for our principals this year, a community of practice, where we were able to talk about leading the work around high quality instruction. I actually made them do a skit at the end of the week together. So it was really interesting getting them to see like the role play around supporting teachers around some of the instructional leadership points that we've talked about. We had principals there pretty much the whole week, and we have made some intentional shifts in how we approach the week, in that we gave opportunities for them to engage in dialogue with their buildings, to begin the planning work now, to set the tone for August. And we believe, and I know Dr. Kataya has shared this through her presentations as well, about increasing opportunities for teacher leadership. We really have an incredible educator body here in Milford, and we believe in growing that capacity and putting our educators in places to be leaders. So getting them around the table to think about how they can support lifting that work and bringing it back to the buildings. I think one of the supervisors put it very eloquently about the connections, I think it was Dr. Paris, about our administrator professional learnings. So we meet once a month as a full leadership team, and we've worked to curate and craft professional learning experiences that immerse our principals in actual planning of lessons, going through and seeing an experience aligned to one of our strategies around high quality instruction, to build some of that coherence across our 14 buildings and be able to bring that work back. So one of the things we're really proud about is at the end of that session, we take all of the materials that we've developed and we provide them to our building leaders so they can customize it, bring it back to their own staff, and do that work within their building. So it's just another way for us to ensure that message is the same, that there's understanding of the practice, and there's also, we know that every building is different. So some buildings are at a different place, and we're also cognizant of that as well when we plan. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. That's really exciting that they're so involved.
Other questions? Ms. Flowers?
I think I have a really sort of basic question.
Sure.
I'm excited to come to one of these days this summer. So it sounds like, I mean, it sounds amazing. And it sounds amazing for the kids to kind of piggyback on what Adam had said. How are the students selected? Do they apply? Like, how does that?
Yep, so each spring, we put out an application to families for students to apply. And we take pride in the fact that we create our HQI classrooms to reflect our demographics here in Milford. So in any given space, and we don't tell the educators who are observing the live teaching who the students are. We have students in the classes that speak multiple languages. We have students that have special education needs or may have a 504. It really is representative, and it's the magic again is seeing all of these kids engage so deeply in the lesson. So we open it up to anyone who wants to participate, and then we work to create so we'll typically pick an elementary, some middle school, and some high school. So there's a range of different live teaching demonstrations for our staff who sign up to participate to be able to see. But we craft those classrooms to really reflect our day-to-day classrooms throughout the school year.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions, comments? Ms. Doyle, Ms. Wilhelm, do either one of you have anything to add?
I do not, thank you. I will just add thank you for the presentation. It's always helpful to see where we started and where to go from. And I remember sitting in my first board meeting, we're discussing HQI and not quite understanding what it meant, and going through the process and learning it, because I think that there's a little bit of a learning curve and a learning curve in the community of what HQI is, and that there is a great opportunity for our district to have engaged in this. And I think we don't want to equate things to results all the time, but we've seen what we are been able to accomplish between our schools of distinction, all of our AP scholars and things like that. And, you know, it's really helpful and really important to demonstrate that it's working. And the feedback from the teachers, from the students is really important, and to ability to adapt to that, because I think we had a discussion earlier about inability to adapt and to innovate is when we start losing progress as a community, and this is an area where we can continue to innovate, and look forward to attending this year to HQI and really appreciate all the work of our administration and our educators and our students who are willing to engage in something that's different, because it is hard to try something new when we've been doing it for many years. So thank you.
Thank you. There are no other comments? I would just encourage board members, if you're able to attend just even one day, June 22nd to the 26th, to try to do that, because it really is a good experience. Dr. Chai, anything else?
Just thank you again to our wonderful team of teachers and administrators who came out tonight. Nice job to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. clicker, yeah. Sorry, Adam.
Next item.
Ms. Glennon, we are going to turn things over to Mr. Patrick Bradbury for our annual Tools for Schools update as required. I think, are you going to do an intro?
Yeah, quick little
Mr. Brennan's
intro.
going to do an intro just to
New, right?
get everybody up to date on what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Definitely a hard act to follow there with some tools for schools
apologize
checklist. But, just wanted to give you guys a quick little background information. This is a newer policy.
Talk about killing the mood,
I know.
Mr. Bradbury.
Just as excited.
Are you going to high five anybody?
I ain't nobody.
I'll high five you,
me a
Mr.
buddy
Bradbury.
bench, it was
I
a
got
school,
you.
that's what I got.
In 2024 of May, in accordance with state statutes, the Board of Education passed policy 7230.2, which is indoor air quality, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. This policy requires the district to perform an internal review of our indoor air quality on an annual basis and make sure that we're in compliance with the Environmental Protection Agency's Tools for Schools checklist. One component of this statute is just to make sure that we have these results and checklists documented and that we make them public for inspection. One way that we do that is to put that on the website, and it's, if you are on the website and you go to the district operations section, it's under the facilities tab in that section. And I know we joke about it not being as exciting as the HQI piece, but I do want to just really emphasize that it is equally as important. And one of the real strengths of this program is involving members of the actual school community in these checklists and making sure that they're aware of the different things that help create strong indoor air quality, and really just that education piece and that collaboration piece is really what helps drive this program. So Mr. Bradbury is going to walk us through this overview, and thank you, Mr. Bradbury, for being here.
Thank you for having me, welcome, thank you very much for letting me explain this to you. So last year, 24, we had to get all these checklists. These are all the schools here in this book, which I can leave for anybody, or you can just read it online. But we go through, there's a building walkthrough, there's a pest management walkthrough, there's waste management, there's a whole bunch of antiquated checklists that the state puts out that we have to fill out and upload and make sure the state has it. I think it's more, they're mandated that we get this done for when we go for funding. They want to make sure this is all done if we have any grants going on for any HVAC upgrades. That's what they're really looking for. But we have a team. We've jumped on their security meetings during the month at the school. We have a calendar that we go out to all the schools. We meet with their safety and security group and go over any indoor. We kind of tied it into that meeting so they weren't creating another meeting for just for Tools for Schools. It's really to get the teachers involved so they feel they have some ownership in their own classroom. A lot of it's education. We talk to them how the building operates, how the boilers work, how the air exchange happens, how we change the filters, why we change the filters. But we do all the inspections. So all those inspections get done in November. And then they all get uploaded to the state, and that's pretty much what this is here. What we could talk about during these meetings is air fresheners, why we don't want any air fresheners or anything that has any odor to it, what we do with our green cleaning program, why all our products are green and safe, and that we use those, and we're trying to get anything else that's not compliant with that out of the building, which is always a challenge. We talk about curtains, we talk about rugs, we talk about cloth furniture, why it's not good to have those. It creates dust, it holds dust. So it's really educating them and helping them understand. I think at the high schools and the middle schools, we do have some students that are involved with the program, which is also helpful. In the springtime, we actually send out a survey to all the teachers and office staff at the schools. They can fill out their own survey, send it to us. There's a note section, a comment section. They can get anything on there that they like, a concern. It could be a capital improvement project that you're talking about. It could be a window that the work order hasn't been done yet in their classroom. Just another avenue for them to talk to us about. We put all of that information that we get into the work order system just so we don't lose it and we keep track of it that way. But we have a really robust preventative maintenance program here at the Board of Ed.
we have mechanics that are constantly checking these units. They're constantly getting PMs to go out and service these units. They all have iPads. They all can queue up their, whatever unit they're working on their iPad. So we're doing a lot of this work already, and we're just trying to help them educate and understand how the building operates. That's pretty much the gist of the whole program. I think that's about it. So what we'll be doing is, this is what the survey looks like. This is how the survey comes into me. And then Danny will take all this information and upload it to the work order system, anything on here that they need to know. But that's really it. I don't know if anybody has any questions, or it's not exciting, I'm sorry.
We much prefer to see all your pictures of the summer work that
I would
you've
love
done.
to, this is really,
So what I'm understanding is basically, these are all things that we have always been doing,
We've
but
always
now
been doing
the
it.
state has just kind of codified it into a
This
form.
tools, yes,
To
this
make
tools
more
are
work for you.
correct. The tools, yeah, it's more work, it's more time. I mean, it takes us probably 4 weeks to get all these inspections done, corrected, and make sure we look at them. Now we're going to meetings. Somebody in my office is going to, there's Danny, Mike, or Don, they're going to all these meetings at the schools. We're running a drill. It could be one of a lockdown drills going on, it could be a fire drill. So we're working with them, how to reset, what happens, why. So it's helpful. Because I told the guys, I said, look, you know, it's easy to fill out these checklists and go, I want to get something from it. I want to gain. So if it's educating the staff on how everything works, that's great. If it's getting more eyes on work orders that we're not getting done, that's great. So we're getting something out of it. We're showing the people how it works, and it's been exciting. The communication's been great, and it's actually turning around a little bit. So there was a little resistance in the beginning, but it's all part of the work now. So it's just one more thing.
And it's on the website.
It's on the website. All these checklists are on the website. If anybody would like to take this home and read it front to back, you're more than welcome. But it'll be here. Michelle will take it. Anything else?
Do you have any questions?
Yes.
This is not a question, I just wanna say I think it's great that you're including staff and students, and I think those are life skills that you're teaching, so thank you.
Absolutely. We actually did a lesson last week on how the toilet works. It was at Orange Avenue, and it was exciting.
Okay, so if there's no questions? Thank you, Mr. Bradbury.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bradbury.
Thank you.
High five.
High five, yeah. The high five was no pipe.
Yes, we are grateful for being able to open schools this morning. We're going to turn things over to Ms. Altieri. We do have Ms. Glennon a second read on policy 6146.
Yes.
He'll walk through the blue text, as I mentioned last time, board members, that the feedback that you provide and ask us to go back and make changes, you will now see those changes in blue. Okay?
So looking at the blue edits on policy 6146 to try to organize a little bit differently based on some of the board feedback. We have broken out the graduation requirements for the next 3 classes, 2027, 2028, and 2029. I won't read everything, but I will point out what the key differences are between each. So we are taking out the language around the half credit in visual and performing arts from the class of 2027, and that was based on feedback from the board to not put our seniors in a place where they would have to fulfill that requirement within 1 school year. We also have eliminated the requirement for the student-generated portfolio aligned to the vision of the learner. And you'll see where that has now moved down within the additions to the requirements for the next 2 graduating classes. Going down into the graduating class of 2028, everything stays the same except for the fact that we have now added the 1 credit for the student-generated portfolio aligned to the MPS vision of the learner. And the rationale for that was last year was the first year with our incoming freshmen that we began a revised advisory experience that included opportunities for our students to engage with the vision of the learner through some advisory activities, reflection activities, as well as a eventual showcase type activity that we're going to provide for students during their senior year. As we go down to the graduating class of 2029, this is now where you will see in the first bullet point the introduction of the half credit in the fine or visual performing arts. We will begin the requirement with the incoming grade 9 students in the fall of 2026. So that will be the first class that has that art requirement in there for those students. And again, continuing with the requirement for the student-generated portfolio aligned to the MPS vision of the learner. So that will be a requirement, starting with the class of 2028 and going through subsequent classes. Lastly, we tried to just clarify the language under Roman numeral 4 on the bottom of page 3 on student success plans. Striking out there was some duplicative language there on including students' career and academic choices, and rewording that to now read, such plan shall include opportunities for career and related academic exploration, and taking out a student's career and academic choices in grades 6 through 12. So those were some of the changes that were made for the second read this evening.
So on that last piece, I still find the student success plan item 4 to be a little clunky.
Okay.
So I have a suggestion.
Sure.
My suggestion would be to try to consolidate it a little bit and say the district shall create a student success plan with the student beginning in grades 6 through grade 12, period. Such plan shall include opportunities for career and related academic exploration, and then striking a student's career and academic choices at that point. And then continuing, so it would read, such plan shall include opportunities for career and related academic exploration in each grade, including but not limited to careers in manufacturing, period. And then such a plan shall be created in compliance with the established rigorous and challenging curriculum.
Okay, that makes sense.
Does that hit all of the
Yes,
points?
that would align with the Public Act 19-58 that has the language to that.
Does anybody object to that amendment? No. That's what it says. Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions on this? I appreciate that you broke out the years. I think it reads more clearly that way. For me, it does at least. Ms. Doyle or Ms. Wilhelm, did you have any questions or comments on the policy revision? Anybody else here have anything to add?
I just want to thank the administration for making that change. I know it's a small change from choices to exploration, but I do really appreciate the focus on like exposure as the primary directive. So small change, but I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Severs.
Anybody else? All right, I gave Mr. Koba the motion today.
I'd like to move that the Milford Board of Education approve policy 6146, graduation requirements as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Tedros seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
The next item is the Talent Management and Development Report, and I'll be taking that this evening. In your packet, board members, you will notice the job listings as well as personnel changes for the month. Included in the report completely are job postings, personnel recommendations, retirements, resignations, terminations, and stipend appointments. At this time, we have 5 retirements. You will notice that we have 2 paraprofessional openings and 5 certified openings, all currently staffed by subs. you have any questions, I'm happy to take them at this time and do my best to answer them.
I was wondering if you could, I don't know if you'll be able to, or maybe Mr. Zenowicz would be able to, on the job postings. So I think the .2 special ed teacher's been there for a while, and we talked about that the last time. That's within the parochial piece. So in the next line says anticipated special education teachers. Can
I just
touch on that?
wanted to have a posting that we can attract applicants for next year.
Okay.
There's going to be vacancies based on retirements.
So this is a
How's
different
that?
strategy for
Proactive.
us.
So
that
proactive.
Mr. Zenowicz proposed that because of the teacher shortage in the world of special education, if there are interested candidates at this time, or our job fair season is starting, we'd like to go ahead and make offers, which is a little bit of a different strategy. We usually wait till May, till the budget is finalized, and then really gear up into our hiring season. But considering the landscape of special education, if Mr. Zenowicz and team find a highly qualified candidate, we'd like to go ahead and make the offer. But we can't do that without a posting, so the posting is up. And Mr. Zenowicz, we made some headway on hiring some special ed teachers, have we not?
Yes, we have. There's a good feeling right now.
Okay.
It really is. We're finding some highly qualified, experienced individuals.
Okay.
And that is what I enjoy seeing.
Of the 5 certified openings, can you tell us how many are special ed and how many are regular ed?
If you give me a second. Yes, ma'am. There's a school psychologist that would be special education. There's a numeracy coach, that is not special education. It's the best answer I have for you at this time, but I'm happy to.
My only full-time from the PPS department is the school psychologist position
That's
right
it?
now, in that .2.
And the .2, oh, very good, okay. Very good.
And plus the paraprofessionals, but not
Right.
certified.
All right, are we still having a hard time attracting paras too?
Unfortunately, quality,
Okay.
the qualified applicants.
Any other questions on the talent management report? Ms. Doyle, Ms. Wilhelm? Okay, thank you. All right, we can move
And I'll
on.
turn things over to Mr. Brennan for the monthly disbursement report.
Thank you, Dr. Pataya, Ms. Glennon, members of the board. In your package, you will find a list of all of our cash disbursements over the amount of $1,500 for the month of January. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Questions for Mr. Brennan on the disbursement report? Ms. Doyle?
Sorry. I don't remember us seeing this health insurance premiums line. I remember the Medicare reimbursement line, it just could be that it's called out more. Is that, and there's 2 of them. Premiums in January for $216,000 approximately for Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then for Besco Hartford on the next page.
Which pages are those? The first one was what page?
It's page 2 and page 3.
Page 2 and page 3?
Yes, so the Medicare reimbursements, yes, those are part of the contractual obligations, so those are something that we have seen regularly. And these other 2 are coverages for our programs as well. So Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield is for our over 65 population of retirees. That's the premium that we pay in order to cover that. And the Besco is also a health insurance premium for over 65 as well. So back in, I think it was middle of last year, Anthem sunsetted part of their population, and we needed to go out to a different provider to cover the health insurance for that group. I think it was, remember back, I think it was like a January of 2025, I believe, is when they said that they will no longer cover this certain population of retirees, and then we needed to go out and find insurance for them based on contractual obligations.
Okay, so we'll continue, payments for Boot Anthem for some portion and Besco for the other portion?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One more question, last page. Fourth line down, Swank movie licensing, is that across the district, and what would that be for?
Yeah, that is the licensing that we have in order to perform pieces of art, music, works, so that we are in compliance with copyright laws.
And there's about 40,000 or so different titles that are included within that are all copyright compliant for us.
So if, like, I think there's a play coming up, I don't remember the name, I don't remember which school, but the licensing would come from there, and so that's how we're able to access the plays and the music they sing and everything else.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Brennan on the disbursement report? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Completes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Kutaya. Move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Kova?
I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda items, which are the minutes from the January 12th, 2026 business meeting, January 14th, 2026 budget workshop, January 15th, 2026 budget workshop, and the January 21st, 2026 budget workshop.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Tedros. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Move on to board comment. Any board comment this evening? Ms. Doyle, Ms. Wilhelm, any board comment? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Anybody opposed to adjourning at 8:47? Okay, we are adjourned.